Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Mamapreneur Podcast. I am your amazing, fabulous, pink on pink hostess, Robbin, and welcome to episode 77. I am so extremely thrilled to have you here with us today, and you're going to be in for a treat. I like to call tonight's episode the self care episode. All three guests are doing something that involves self care in some shape, form, or capacity. And so I can't wait for you guys to get to know them, their stories, their why, and why you should know who they are. And so I'm really excited and thrilled for that. But before I get to anyone, my audience, whether you're watching me live right now on Facebook, you're watching me live on YouTube, or you're watching us live on LinkedIn, I need you guys sharing the live broadcast or sharing the replay. So if you are tuning in right now, I need you to get that share button, press it, and share it because you just never know who may need tonight's episode. Okay. Sharing is caring. Okay. While you're sharing, also let us know in the chat, whichever chat you're on, where you're tuning in from. We have people that listen and or watch from all over the world, all over the United States. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And let's chat in the chat. No pun intended. Chat in the chat. Okay. And this show, I say it every show, but it's real. This show wouldn't be here if I didn't go to a networking event. So I know there's people that have businesses in the chat that are watching us, whether live or the replay. So I need you to put your business info in the chat. You got a book, you got a nonprofit, you know how to write some grants, you can cure cancer, and you got the money to try to help cure it. You got a business, you a coach. We coaching everything today. If you're a coach, whatever that looks like, I need you to post your info in the chat. Let's network in the chat. Let's make the chat do what it do. Okay. So whatever that business is, you can put your social media, you can put your website, if for people to contact you, email address, whatever that looks like, you can put that info in the chat. You never know, again, who may need your services. So let's network amongst each other in the chat. Okay. And I know that you guys are going to enjoy myself and my fabulous guest as we talk tonight, but we need you chatting in the chat. So what that means is if you have a question, type that in the chat. If you are agreeing with something that we are saying, hashtag Hallelujah Corner, type it in the chat. You agree with something we're saying. If something we're saying is resonating with you and you like, man, that's me, post that in the chat as well. We want you engaging, whichever platform you are on watching us tonight or watching the replay. We want you to engage, honey. Okay. So little bit about little old me here. My name is Robbin. I've been hosting this show for about 3.5 years. Again, episode 77. I would not be here tonight if it wasn't for POWERTEAM CEO Kesha Kesh. Thank you, sister. 77 episodes in, honey. She is my right hand, left hand cat. Okay? So thank you, sister. Can you believe next year, April will be 4 years, girl? Where has the time gone? And yes, I'm still nervous before every episode. She may not believe me, but it's okay. Y'all just can't tell. Okay? So, but I love being able to pour into women-owned businesses and love being able to shine a light on woman-owned businesses. And that's why these ladies are here tonight. And so before I get to them, I got announcements on top of announcements because that's just what we do here. All right. Have you subscribed to the Mamapreneur Podcast YouTube channel? If you're on YouTube right now and you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and press that subscribe button, please and thanks. We are on our road to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. If you're watching us on other platforms, when the show is over, I need you to go over to the Mamapreneur Podcast YouTube channel and subscribe. It's okay. You can do that for me. Please. Thanks. Okay. Also, if you are a woman entrepreneur and you're looking for some community, child, you're looking for a place where you can promote yourself and your brand, well, the Mamapreneur Tribe is it. Come on, sound effects. I knew they were coming. That is the Mamapreneur Tribe. You are not giving encores over there. Okay. So that is the Mamapreneur Tribe on Facebook. Group is 2.5, almost 3 years old. And just the community, the connection, the collaborations that have taken place from the ladies in the group. So look us up on Facebook for our women. This is women-owned businesses only. Mamapreneur Tribe. Or if you're a fan of the show or aspiring entrepreneur, but you're a woman, we love the menses, but this is for the ladies. And so Mamapreneur Tribe, Facebook, submit an invite and I will accept your invite. And when you come into the group, introduce yourself. Let everybody know what you do. Don't be shy. We have a lot of Facebook groups out there. They just folks be looking. Come to the Mamapreneur Tribe and get active, get engaged. Talk about you. Your next collaborator could be in the chat. So just putting that out there, okay? All righty. Now booking for guest spots for early 2025 for the Mamapreneur Podcast. So if you are a woman-owned business and you want to get your brand out there on a global, you heard me, global scale, the Mamapreneur Podcast is where it's at. And so send me a direct message. If you know me personally, text, and I'll let you know what that looks like on how to be a guest on the show. And there's things you have to do. So, and I like to be able to have that one-on-one time with you first before you come onto the platform. So now booking for early 2025. So if you've been following us for some time and you have not been able to be a guest yet, this is your time. If you are the introvert of the introverts, but you got a business, come on to the show. I can help break that shell. Let's do it. I'm pretty sure we got an introvert that's coming on tonight. Guess what? They're on the show today. You can do it too. So yeah, now booking for 2025. Also, I am hosting the Mamapreneur Podcasting webinar November 4th, where I kind of give you some tips of the trade for podcasting. This is for anyone who wants to start a podcast. This is anyone who has an existing platform and they want to grow their platform and to kind of step it up a notch. Link will be posted shortly. It is the Mamapreneur Podcasting webinar. That will be on November 4th. So I always give gifts when you come to my events, whether that's virtual or in person. So there is a free gift with purchase, but you must attend. You must register, be able to get that gift, okay? November 4th. All right. Also, myself and her name is Sharice. She is my collaborator. You're going to hear collaborate quite a bit tonight. My collaborator with Mingle and Motivate. So for my Dallas, Fort Worth ladies, November 16th, 12 o'clock, Richardson, Texas. If you like to get out, meet people, whether they're corporate or they have their own business, but ladies, come join us. Shades of nude, shades of brown, whatever that looks like to you, honey. Of course, there's going to be lots of inspiration, lots of food, fun, adult beverages, and a lot more. But you must be present to figure out what all is going to happen. And of course, I take care of my peoples when they come to my functions, okay? And so Sharice ain't no different. She's going to come and she's going to take care of you guys as well. And it's going to be a fun time. So spots are filling up for that. November 16th, link should be posted shortly for Mingle and Motivate. So I hope to see you there. If you are in the Dallas, Fort Worth area, we want to see you there. All right. And we're also seeking sponsors for the event. If you would like to sponsor, if you're unable to attend and you would like to be a sponsor, please reach out to me for more information there. Also, we always do a good swag bag. So if you have a product-based business and you want to donate to the swag bag, please get with me directly and I'll be happy to provide the info on how you can submit those items to me, okay? So you can treat someone else, and it's another way of getting your business out there without you physically being in the room. All right. Last announcement before I go into my next segment is an event that I did earlier this year, which was a success. And I said, I will do it every year. So for my people who like a good vision board, who did a vision board this year? Post in the chat if you did. I am doing Mimosas and Visions, January 18th, 2025. I'm talking about it now. Tickets will be going on sale soon. You want to be in the room for Mimosas and Visions. It was a blast last time. I had 22 ladies in the room and heard some amazing stories behind the vision boards, etc. It was just a great time of connection. And we want you to come and join us in 2025. It's going to be bigger and better. So be on the lookout for the tickets to go on sale. But I want to put it on your minds now, honey, because again, just like Mingle and Motivate, Mimosas and Visions is limited seating. So once we hit that number, tickets will no longer be on sale. And I'll need you on January 17, 2025. Hey, Robbin, you got some of them tickets? Hate to tell you no if we sold out at that time, which we will be. Just saying. So, told y'all get ready for the sound effects. You don't want that to be you, honey. Okay, just saying. You're so crazy, girl, with these sound effects. Get ready. We just getting started. 12 minutes in. Get ready. So tonight is a very special theme, and Robbin's 2 cents goes along with tonight's theme. So tonight's Robbin's 2 cents. Thank you, baby. And I need you guys commenting in the chat if you feel what I am saying. Are you the person who is always checking on everybody? Or are you the person that is always being checked on? When's the last time you checked on somebody to see how they're doing? Do you know life is lifing for a lot of people right now? And they are choosing to be silent and isolate themselves because they are dealing with A, B, C, D, and Z? When was the last time you checked on someone? Or is it always people checking on you? Okay. So I always say that you just never know what people are going through. COVID exposed a lot of people's mental health conditions. Big time. Anxiety and depression is at its highest today, I feel like, or since COVID. Our anxiety therapist is going to probably correct me later. We'll see. But it's at its highest and it's revealed itself since the pandemic. Suicide rates alone have climbed. African Americans, big time. Again, while we're living our best life, make sure you're checking on others, because you just checking on them can make their day, can prevent them from making a bad decision. So again, as I close in Robbin's 2 cents, are you the person always checking on everybody? And it's not reciprocal? Or are you the person everyone's always checking on and it's always about you? All right, that's it. In a nutshell. All right. No, I'm playing. Let me clear my throat. No, just kidding. All right. So my first guest is the amazing Jill Jones of Infinity Healing and Yoga Therapy. So I got the opportunity to meet Miss Jill. Entrepreneurs, make sure that you're always out there learning from people, going to webinars, going to events where you are learning. Professional or personal development is everything. And so I got to meet Miss Jill on a webinar from this lady who is, I like to call her the LinkedIn guru. And so we got to connect from one of this lady's webinars. And we talked, had a conversation, and I just enjoyed everything she talked about. And it's just going to put some things in perspective once you hear what she has to say. So she is, and she's going to probably correct me on how I pronounce this. Forgive me, Jill, in advance. She is an pronounce it, Jill.
Ayurvedic herbalist.
Thank you. And yoga therapist, where she is an expert at, say it again.
Ayurvedic herbalist.
Offers a wealth of herbs and holistic approaches that can support people who are managing diabetes. So picture all that together. Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, give her some hand claps in the chat. Jill Jones. Welcome, Jill. Woo!
Oh, it's so good to be here, Robbin. Thank you so much.
I am so glad that you're here. There you go. So, Miss Jill, I know I gave a quick little description about you because I want everybody to know from you. Tell us about your journey and what made you say, I want to go this route. In this case, say it again.
Ayurvedic herbalist.
I was going to mess
it
up. That's why I was like, Jill's going to pronounce that for me. So tell us a little bit about you and your story.
Okay, absolutely. I lost both of my parents to cancer in the 90s. And I watched them both suffer invariably. And I just thought, there's just got to be a better way. There's just got to be a better way than to see them waste away in this. Mm-hmm. And so I started looking around, and I ran onto something called ESSIAC. ESSIAC, it's out there. You can find a book, ESSIAC, and it's an herbal compound. And it was, I found it because it came up under cancer, and the internet was in its very early stages. So I was, I wanted to know more. I wanted to know more because ESSIAC is actually the founder's name spelled backwards. Renee Cassay was a nurse around the Toronto area. Mm-hmm. And she ran on to an older woman in her practice in a nursing home. This older woman had been in and around Toronto with her husband around the turn of the last century. So that would have been the 1890s, early 1900s. And she was starting to feel bad. And so she was, real concerned, but, kept in the field there with her husband. And she was, she ran on to a Chippewa Indian medicine man. Okay. The Indians were still around about that time. And he saw her and he says, I can help you. He could see the imbalance in her body and in her face. Mm-hmm. And he knew that he could help her, if she would let him. And of course, she was taken aback by this, like many of us are today. Herbals have been out of the picture for quite a long time. Before the advent of the mainstream medicine we know today, herbals were used quite often. They were called the eclectics. So plant medicine was very much used around those times. And so she kind of just fluffed him off. She didn't think too much about it and went on. And as she got worse, as she and her husband went into the city of Toronto, and, they went to seek out cancer treatment, which it's pretty much the same. It was pretty much the same then as it is today. Mm-hmm. And they found that they just could not afford it. So this lady went back to the Chippewa Indian medicine man, and he was able to give her this compound. She took the compound for about 6 months, I think. And finally, she had breast cancer. So this kind of coalesced into kind of a boil on her breast. And he was able to do a small surgery. And it was like cottage cheese. He stitched her up and she was fine. She went on to live a healthy life for another 20 or 30 years, cancer-free. So Renee Kesse was the nurse in the nursing home where this lady was. And she noticed the scar on this woman's breast when she was, bathing the woman. And she said, if you don't mind me asking, why, what happened there? So that was how the whole story of that happened. Well, Renee Kesse took that into the clinics. She had a small clinic of her own. And when the mainstream medicine of that time decided that patients, were to the last point that they could treat them, she would help them. She would take them into her clinic and she would use this compound and she would, treat them. And a lot of them healed. A lot of them got their balance back. Some even healed from other things, because that's what's so neat about herbal medicine is that you don't have very few side effects. But if you do have side effects, they're usually very good because they will bring balance to the body and help heal you overall. One lady had diabetes, and after her treatment, she was free from cancer and free from diabetes.
Wow.
And so I was so impressed by this. And I was like, I've got to know more. I have to know more about this, So I took at that time, it was a correspondence course. This was sort of before like the internet got really going. And I took it from this lady. She was a naturopathic physician out of Mountain Home, Arkansas. And it was a great little program that she had. It was considered about 200 hours worth of study. And we covered all of the body systems. And I learned how to make cough medicine. I learned how to make salves. I learned how to make teas and decoctions and all of that sort of thing. My kids were real young at the time, so I really couldn't move forward. Finances, growing children, it was, just something I couldn't do at the time. But moving fast forward, my kids are grown now, and I got into yoga first, and I loved it. And in my 200-hour teacher training class, we had a woman come and guest teach, and she was learning to be a yoga therapist. And she told us about a man by the name of Krishnamacharya, who was the kind of one of the founders of bringing yoga to the United States, back in, the late 1800s. Again, around the same kind of stage. The world was really changing at that time. And he would just help people with yoga and Ayurveda and, pranayama, the breathing exercises and meditation. And I thought, this is so cool. I really want to do this. So I found breathingdeeply.com. That's where I got my foundations, yoga therapy. And as I was thinking about going into this business, I thought, I'd really like to go back to the herbs. That was so interesting to me. And I found a guy, KP Kalsa is his name. He runs the International Educational Institute and teaches Ayurveda. He's been an herbalist for about 50 years. So he's amazing. His stories are amazing. What I've learned from him is amazing. And I thought, I just really want to help people. I love to see people heal. I love to see them grow. I love to see them, live their best lives, because we have at this last, especially during COVID, but leading up to that, our health has become so bad. We have, our diets are so bad. We eat a lot of fast food. We don't get enough vegetables, and so on and on and on. So we really need to heal now. And that's what I love to do.
And then you bring it all together with yoga. I think that's just amazing. I'm learning more and more about yoga because the gym I go to has all these different kinds.
Right. I
Vinyasa and all these other different kind of
Yeah,
yoga.
there's vinyasa, there's hatha, there's ashtanga, and it just depends upon how intense you want that, the yoga practice to be. Just gentle movement is very good, and with, the areas that I practice in, especially with diabetes, I see the world, here in the United States, we have 11 to 12% of people that are, have diabetes. A lot of people don't even know that. That's what's sad. And
Pre-diabetes is out there.
pre-diabetes,
More and more
absolutely.
people
And,
get
you know,
diagnosed.
absolutely. And, they might have heart issues that are, but they don't relate it that way. But it's a general breakdown of the metabolism. So, and that's, as I said, mainly from our diet, but there are herbs that work awesomely to heal this process and of degradation. So it heals the body. You get the good nutrition you need. You lower the blood sugar. You do all the things that are necessary. And in some cases, if we catch it early enough, we can even reverse it. And I just think that is wonderful.
What is that process like? So if you get someone that wants to work with you, and I'm just gonna throw pre-diabetes out there since
Sure.
that's
Sure.
reversible.
And I worked
Okay.
with, many pre-diabetic people.
Okay.
And what we do is I do an intake. They talk, tell me about how their body is, their habits, how they eat. And I get a good view of, what's going on. They do, they can do some testing these days. There's a lot of self-test labs out there, like Ulta Labs, and there's a few others as well, but we can get testing done for them, and we can look at the levels of blood sugar. We can look at the A1C, all these kind of things. And then I can create a protocol, especially for them. I always gear it as an individual thing. If I were working with you, Robbin, I would say, okay, this is what's going on. So we set that up just for you. And it's very individualized. We'd look at diet. We'd use the herbs, exercise. Exercise is especially important. And yoga is so good because it is low impact. You can do gentle movement. Walking is great, swimming, all those kind of things. But these are, we would do a whole protocol that involves all of those things to help you find the balance and heal.
And I know some people may think yoga is a little on the intimidating side. What are some some advice that you would give to someone who may be a beginner?
Well, we have one that we do often in yoga therapy, and we call it the joint freeing series. And it is really just like joint freeing. And so we do the, move all the joints, back and forth, and just, bringing gentle movement. That's something that anyone can do. You can do it seated in a chair. But you can do just a beginner's class. Will be some of the basic yoga poses, such as down dog, staff pose would be seated. You might do some twists, and it's just gentle movement, but it's enough that you may feel it the next day, but you won't be, it won't exhaust you. It's very energizing, really.
Gotcha. So you take clients from all over the U.S. Is it specifically in your town, or how does that work for you?
Well, I'm in the St. Louis metropolitan area in Missouri, Illinois. We're a bi-state region. And yes, I work live with people that are near me, but I also work with people online. So I'm a hybrid company. I'm the sole owner and operator. And I work with anyone who would like to, turn their life around.
Such an inspiration. And I just think that's so interesting with the diabetes part, as far as helping people kind of manage that? Because a lot of times you just hear diabetes, all right, metformin. You
Yeah.
just throw you on some metformin,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah. And, what we do is we build the body back up. So much of disease overall in our period of time is because our nutrition is so bad. So we don't have trace minerals. We don't have good nutrition. Even the soil has been depleted in many instances. So we're not getting that nutrition. So we have like we have one herb called shilajit, and it is basically a type of earth. And so it's putting those trace minerals back into the body. And we use things like Guduchi and Gymnema sylvestre. And those are all Sanskrit words.
Oh, so that's some different herbs. Never heard of that. What about berberine? I just saw TikTok.
Berberine it is very good. They've kind of isolated a certain part of the plant in when they talk about berberine, but it is useful in bringing blood sugar down.
I heard about it recently. Of course, if you're on TikTok now, granted, I wasn't talking about berberine. I was just scrolling, and then that popped up, and I was like, "What's that?" And then it was a testimonial. Someone's
right, and it does work. It's helpful, but it is a constituent that they separated out, which is which tends to be that is how that's the difference between the Western take on medicine and herbalism, because we look at the whole picture and we use the whole herb, and so the whole herb, it may help a half a dozen things in your body. And so it might heal you on a couple of different levels and in different ways. Wow. Whereas like berberine they kind of made it a specific situation, much like a lot of the medications that we would get. And believe me, I love the things that, mainstream medicine does for us. I mean, where would we be without antibiotics? Yeah. And, so we can work in unison with someone's doctor if they wanted to do it that way too. I'm always, a team player when it comes to that, because if they feel better, if a client feels better working with me and a doctor, that's cool.
Love it. Tell everyone how you can be reached.
I can be reached at https://infinityhealingyogatherapy.com. And I'm also at heal.me/Infinity Healing Yoga Therapy. And I'm on one other platform, which is BU, that's BYOU, -app.com.
A whole app. Miss Jill, thank you so much for being here today. Drop all the gems, Miss Jill. All the gems, especially on a more holistic level. Continued success. Thank you so much for being on. Guys, make sure that you follow her. Reach out to her if you have further questions. Pretty sure she'd be glad to answer any questions you may have. Have a blessed evening. Thank you so much, Miss Jill. Great. Y'all give her some claps in the chat. Thank you so much, Miss Jill.
Thank you.
Great. Our next guest, if you guys are not catching mind, body, and spirit today, our next guest is the fabulous, she's a trainer, personal trainer, nutritionist, Miss AC. Miss AC, honey, hold on. Does my quote, she gave me a bio, but I didn't add it to it. Miss AC does all the things, literally. So she is your fitness coach. She is your nutrition coach. She is your mindset coach. She'll get you together, all the things. And she'll tell you she is not your typical trainer. She's very blunt, but funny, life-loving, outgoing introvert. Now, I don't know where outgoing introvert going to come from. I'll talk about it in a minute when she get on here. And she understands the needs of ladies on the go. Put my hand up on that. And she says it's all about internally healthy and in turn building the body of your dreams and not trying to fit society's mold of perfection. Be authentically and unapologetically, Robbin, you. So I would like to introduce Miss Coach AC, Miss Outgoing Introvert, but not introvert, extrovert, ambivert, AC. Hey, boo.
Hey, Bo, how are you?
I am well. So glad to see you. I felt like it's been forever since we talked.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. I love your spirit.
Thank you. And I'm definitely an introvert. I'm an introverted extrovert. I'm lying. I'm an extroverted introvert. I would rather be at home, but if I got to get a little spicy, I can.
I love it. I love it. So my question I didn't get to ask Miss Jill because she had me mesmerized by everything that came out of her mouth. What does self-care look like for you? You pour into others, but what does self-care look like for you?
Yeah. Self-care for me is taking a hike by myself. I love nature. I love being outside. I love to take in, the sounds of the birds, the sound of the wind, the sun. I love the smell of outside trees, flowers. So I'll take a hike. Sometimes I'll go get my nails and my feet done, just to relax. I'll go sit in a coffee shop and do business. For me, business isn't work.
Right.
It's something that I really enjoy. And so as long as I can kind of tuck in a corner by myself and put some headphones on, I'm an R&B girl through and through. So put some R&B on, and I'll go to town on anything business. I journal. I do take time to journal, and really just tap in with me. I talk to God a lot. That's self-care to me. So I do take a lot of time just for me, whatever, in all aspects.
I love it. You be having them let me holler at you God moments. God, let me holler at you for a minute, player.
Listen,
real quick.
The conversations get real.
Hey, I think you direct like I am. So I crack jokes with people, some people Christian like myself, Christian like you. And we talk to God and we're so eloquent.
Right.
We're naming all the books of the Bible.
Yeah.
All the verses. And you going through life like, let me holler at you for a minute.
Let me holler at you.
You got a minute?
Yep. You see me down here crying. How long you want me to cry, sir?
Yes. So I love that. Yes, prayer is a form of self-care. I love it. I love it. So tell everyone your story, your why, and why they should work with you because you're so fabulous. And she is local DFW for my DFW peeps. All right, go ahead.
My journey started as therapy. I'm an athlete. My background is I played basketball. And once that was over, I needed something to keep me busy because I went from being, playing in every league. I went to college for a year and played basketball. And coming out of that, I just needed something to kind of stay fit. And the gym became that thing at first, and it was just something to do. But then it quickly became therapeutic. It really became my source of my outlet when I felt broken, if I felt confused or if I needed to cry, sweat covered my tears. And so I would go in the gym and kind of just let my rage out in the gym. And then slowly it became, my body started to change and I started to, fill out a little thicker and, and I began to like it a little bit. And then it became kind of an obsession for me. I wanted to see how far I can take my body. And then I tapped into the nutrition side of it. And my body changed tremendously from being just an athlete to now in the fitness world. And then a girl saw me in the gym. I used to live in Florida, and a girl saw me in the gym. And she sent her boyfriend the first time to come say something to me. And so I went to her and I said, well, don't send your boyfriend. What are we doing? And she says, this is the third time I've seen you in a gym. And I feel like God is telling me, you need to be my trainer. And I said, well, listen, I think you need to have a conversation with God because I think he lied. At the time, I wasn't certified. I wasn't a trainer. I was just in the gym to be in the gym. And so I was like, I don't know that you got that message correct. Like we might need to go talk to God together.
He tapped you on that shoulder. He was like, "No, ma'am."
And then she was very adamant about it. And I was like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? She stayed the same, okay. So I took her on as a client. And at the time, her goal was to fit. She was young, so at the time, she wanted to fit in her prom dress. And the moment I probably worked with her about 6 months. She was able to fit in that prom dress, and just the glow that she had. It was almost like she rediscovered who she was or who she used to be. There was a level of confidence that changed once she was able to fit. And it wasn't even, once we got out of that journey, it wasn't even so much about fitting into the prom dress. It was just what came from it, She felt confident. She felt lifted. She felt secure, And that reaction started to fuel me kind of differently. And then it no longer became really about me. And then I really just started working with women, everyday women, entrepreneur women on the go, women that had, I don't have the time, I'm very short on time. I have my wife, I'm a mom, I'm this, and I got maybe 30 minutes throughout my day to kind of get it in. And so I began to work with women like that, and just the transformation they go through. And on the internal side, a lot of times women, we're very visual. So we come with, I want to lose a certain amount of weight. I want to be X amount of pounds. I want to be, pre-baby body or whatever the goal is. It's usually aesthetics. And so, but once you kind of go through the transformation, especially how I coach, it's an internal transformation first. You find, just who you are again, and in that power in being a woman. And so it really became about that. Now it's solely about that. It has nothing to do with, having a bigger butt or a flatter stomach. I want you to feel good. I want you to feel your best. I want you to walk in the room and demand attention because your confidence is that, because the power you carry is that, not because you're a size 2,
Okay.
And so, and it's the reality, I'm very real. I'm very raw. I tell people, I get women all the time. They're like, your body goals. No, I'm not, because our bodies are so different. You're not going to be me. You may not even put in the work that I did to get to where I'm at. So, that's a whole nother layer to it. But, be confident in who you are. Be powerful in who you are in the healthiest possible way. So that's my why.
I love it. I feel it. Feel it, honey.
Yeah.
Yes. So I just got a few questions because
Sure.
I got questions. I had some people send me questions. I was like, can you ask her this?
Yeah.
So question 1, what is a recommended amount of days you think people should work out? That was a question.
Okay. So there's no right or wrong amount of days. It's really what you can give to it. My programming, I put my ladies on 3 days a week. If you're working out on your own, I would say a minimum of 2. One, if you're just like on the go, short on time every day, and you can only get in 1 day, take the 1 day. And then we can gradually add days. But I would say at bare minimum, no less than 2. 3 is, you can get optimal results at 3. You don't have to go any more than 3 unless you just have some outrageous goal that you're trying to reach. 3 is optimum. You can get a lot done in 3 days. You don't have to be in the gym all day. You can literally go to the gym 30, 45 minutes. You don't even have to really go to a gym. If you got some stuff at home that you can move around, we can get it in while you're at home. So you don't have to go anywhere, So I would say 2 or 3. 2 or 3.
Okay. Macros, calories. How do you kind of even decipher what does that look like for a person as far as they're trying to lose weight, the amount of calories and the macro, all that addition, child. Okay.
All the mathematics.
All the mathematics. Okay.
So there is an equation. There's some calculators that you can Google that will give you that information based on your height, your current weight, your activity level, age, all those things. But the reality is, honestly, you don't have to track to get results. You don't. You have to understand how to eat what you enjoy. You don't have to measure your food out. You don't have to weigh your food. Yeah, you
I
don't
saw
have
that on TikTok. I said,
mm-mm.
what the hell is this scale?
No, you
What
don't
is this
have
scale?
to. And that, yeah, you don't have to. And that's the thing is like, I've created my programming to suit the everyday woman, to suit the
Right.
busy woman, to suit the entrepreneur woman, the mom, you know, because what mom is sitting in a kitchen with a 2-year-old on her hip counting calories, you know,
Talking
like
about, you
measuring
can't see
her
my
food.
phone right now. Talking about, all
Yeah.
right, 3
Who's
ounces.
doing that?
No.
Nobody, you know? So no one has that kind of time when you're moving about, you know? And so there's ways to do it where you don't have to track. But I would say especially for a new person who is just starting out on their journey, I would encourage you to try tracking, just because a lot of times we don't know what we're eating. We don't know how much of it we actually eat. And so it is kind of a good thing to know, like, okay, this is at least what I do now. But you don't have
I
to.
do all that.
You ain't gotta do all that. You ain't got come over here. You ain't gotta do all that.
Next question. How would you address if you had a client come in and they've dealt with emotional or stress eating, cortisol levels are all over the place? Of course, they're not losing weight, they're stress eating, etc.
Yeah. So stress eating or emotional eating can be very tricky, because there's two ends of the spectrum. There's those who overeat when they're in high emotion or high stressful situations, and there's the opposite where people don't eat at all. Fall on the opposite. I don't eat at all when I'm stressed, emotional. If I'm have anxiety, I will not eat at all. I know how to force myself to eat during those periods, but emotional eating can be very tricky. What I will tell somebody who is a big emotional eater is, first, feel what you feel. I think a lot of times we eat to not feel, right? So the
Right.
food is replacing the feeling or replacing something else and giving you that high of something else. And so I would say give yourself permission to feel, first and foremost. While you're in that mindset, drink water, drink fluids. Fluids, especially water, have a way of making you feel full. And so now if you take a moment, you're feeling what you're feeling, you drink a glass of water, now you've given yourself some time to kind of relax. Your mind can kind of relax. Now you can think a little more clear. You may notice that you're not even hungry, first and foremost. But then the second thing is that now you can make smarter choices if you are in fact hungry. And so give yourself some time. Like, I think we're in a society, especially now, we don't want to feel nothing. We want to get rid of it. We want to,
Quick.
Yeah, real
Fast.
quick. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not healthy. And and that's really where food comes in. It's just the feeling of something else. And so give yourself permission to feel it. You need to feel it in order to identify it, in order to get over it. And I say get over it loosely, because I don't want to be insensitive to anybody. So not get over it like that, but get over it.
Suck it up, Buttercup. Yeah, that's what you said.
And then drink fluids. Before you grab food, drink fluids. Give yourself a moment. Take time to breathe. Write. I think that's a perfect time to journal. Get your feelings and your emotions out.
Mm-hmm.
Because once it's out of you, like I said, you can think more clear and make smarter choices.
And last question. Clients who may have cravings, they're on the path to eat healthier.
Mhm.
They're on the path to lose weight, etc. Tone up, whatever. But they have certain cravings. I know me, I'm sweets
Okay.
all day. I want sweets now.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to eat them now.
Yeah.
Or if it's a person, it's bread or any type of carb.
For sure. So I tell all of my ladies, eat the sweets. Don't curb it. Don't avoid it. Don't.
Oh, please. Joking. I don't have none in the house. I'm joking. Carry on.
I tell all my clients, eat the sweets, because the thing that I never want to put a woman into is that restrictive mindset or that elimination, or I can't, because first of all, it's all negative. If you go into that restrictive mindset, eventually whatever healthy path you're trying to go on, you're going to say F it and move on to and go back to eating the way you were, because it's too hard. It's too negative. It's too, I can't. So I'm all my ladies. If you have a sweet tooth, eat the sweets. In the moment that you feel it, eat it, because we can always adjust the next day. The one thing I also tell my clients too is, and I also,
because that fool said she was looking at sweets are looking at her. Carry on, AC. Don't mind us. Go ahead.
Take the sweets. But then also when you are, like, I have a client right now, just for example, her thing is Red Bull. And, you know, I tell her all the time, Red Bull is also linked to other health issues. Usually really kind of going with your heart.
Yes, ma'am.
It's aligned to all that diabetes. It's very high in sugar. So I told her today, I said, you know, the moment you feel you want a Red Bull, write down the feeling that you have, write down the reason you want it. Why? Yes. Right. The moment you want it. Why do you want it? What is happening in the moment that is driving you to that? And then we can identify it, and then it's easier to replace. So when she told me later on, she said, I was just bored. And I think every time I want a Red Bull, I'm just bored. I'm sitting idly. I don't have, you know. And so, okay, so it's not the taste. It's not the energy or the boost it gives you. It's not the high it might give you. You're just bored. Okay, so now we're gonna fill that with something else, with equal, that gives you the same or similar feeling. Yes.
Okay.
So don't avoid it though. Eat it, because I don't want you to be in a negative mindset about food or surrounding food. We want to build healthy relationships with food. And if you're already thinking negative about it, it's only going to continue to perpetuate itself. We don't want that. Have the sweets. We can always adjust. We can always minimize. We can always add something here. We can always work together to figure out the reason why, and, you know, replace it with something else that gives you an equal or similar feeling. Okay. But don't avoid it. I'm a cookie girl. Cookies get gotten around my house. Okay, so yes.
Shut up, Kesha, with that clap.
I am a cookie girl.
You so dumb.
Okay?
Oh man. Yes. Anyway, hey, see, tell everybody how you can be followed. I'm done with Kesha back there in the background. Go ahead.
On Instagram at Body by AC, on TikTok at Body by AC, Threads at Body by AC, Facebook is AC Collins, bodybyac.com. I'm offering 7 days free of personal training and coaching and nutrition coaching. So tap in there, and follow me.
I'm so glad that you came and joined us. Yes. Now we gotta get together in person.
Yes.
I gotta see your face.
I'm gonna be seeing you. Yes.
Soon.
Yes.
And I'm gonna be talking to you about my sweets problem. Anyway, thank you, AC, for coming on today.
Absolutely, Robbin. Nice meeting you formally.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Success. Thank you, sis.
Thank you.
Can you tell I like sweets? Don't answer that. You got something you like more. And last but not least, to close us out, Marion Cooper of On the Moment Therapy. Marion is an anxiety and art therapist. Isn't that a crazy kind of mixture? But I can't wait for her to tell you guys about it. She helps high achievers let go of unrealistic expectations to live in the moment and stop chasing perfection. Who are the perfectionists out there? Go ahead and call yourself out in the chat. Where she is licensed, honey, not only in Texas, she's licensed in New York and California. You better work. Ladies and gentlemen, Marion Cooper. Woo! Hi, beautiful.
Hello.
Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here, honey.
Thank you for having me, Robbin. So excited to be here.
Absolutely. Tell everyone about you and your amazing practice.
Yeah, so I am a social worker or therapist, and I'm also a art therapist, and I can see anyone for anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, but I really am passionate about working with overachievers who may not necessarily identify as perfectionists, but set really high goals for themselves and really, really struggle. So I really enjoy helping people set those realistic expectations and find relief and stop beating themselves up.
Yes, yes. Now, for the people that don't know what high achievers, that's their saboteur, high achievers, overachievers, perfectionism. Kind of shed a little light on what that is. I know folks know who perfectionists are, but the high achievers, who are the high achievers? If you know that's you can go ahead and call yourself out in the chat. Go ahead.
Yeah, so high achievers are people who may not necessarily identify as high achievers, but they're the ones, putting in the extra work, going above and beyond, almost to the point of burnt out and just feeling really, really tired, but they have to give more. They have to do more. They have to keep showing up and be the best.
Yes, no matter how much it can, I say harm them, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, all the things. And I'll ask you this question as well. What does self-care look like for you?
Yes, self-care, and I want to be honest, it's something that I really have to push myself to do because I am an overachiever and I will go, 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 go.
Same.
And I have to remember, like, the same thing that I'm telling people week after week, I have to do it myself. But for me, self-care, because I talk a lot, in sessions where we're talking, self-care for me is like not talking.
So you said anything that has anything to do with not talking, don't talk at all. Just
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. And being, an art therapist as well, collaging, going to museums, making art, reading, podcasts, like that is how I recharge.
Wow. So you focus on anxiety. Kind of talk about what EMDR is and why is it very helpful to go through that process and grounding and all of that when it comes to anxiety, people with anxiety.
Yeah, so EMDR is a very, very helpful treatment that allows you to really not only tap into anxiety, it talks about trauma as well. And it's a way for you to go through really uncomfortable, really difficult emotions and be able to find the safety in that.
Wow. Yeah, learned about that last year, a little bit about that. I always be stumbling upon stuff. I'm like, what is EMDR and why is this on my timeline? Or what is grounding? Why is that in my timeline? But it was their child one day. Just scroll, TikTok. Carry on.
Yeah, and grounding is something that people can do, anywhere, and essentially it's about bringing yourself to the present moment, because when we are anxious, I don't know if you've ever really kind of considered this, but you're not present. You're in the future. It's something that could happen, something that might happen.
What it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also things that may never happen. And so grounding is what you do to bring yourself to the present. And right now I'm talking to you. Right now I'm, listening, to the show. So grounding is very helpful.
Love it. Love it. So art therapy, you mentioned a little bit a minute ago about it.
Mm-hmm.
So you say collaging. So collaging helps. So is that helping with the anxiety? Or is that your form of therapy along with anxiety? Is that separate? You have clients for that separately?
So I mix. So I have clients who come to me and we just talk. I have clients that come to me and we are drawing, or they're painting, or they're, doing some creative writing. And I love collage and I love introducing it to people, because every time when I say art therapy, oh, I don't know how to draw, I'm not creative, I don't know how to, do stuff. And so collage is non-threatening because you're cutting out of magazines. You're taking pictures and images and words and just putting it together, similar to like your vision boarding. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Now, what kind of, besides EMDR and grounding and all those things, what kind of other coping strategies or tools that you would help someone with that's not sitting in your office,
Mm-hmm.
and they're maybe on the verge of a panic attack? or anxiety attack, how to help them kind of bring it back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the best thing that you can do when you are feeling anxious, especially during panic, is breathing. So it's something that you're already doing, but specifically for panic and anxiety, when you're breathing, your breathing gets really shallow and it gets really fast. And so what you want to do is slow it down and deepen it. So deep breathing is what you want to do. So for someone that's struggling, so there's many different types of breathing, but you want to think of like 4-4-4. So you're going to inhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, release it for 4 seconds. So if you don't remember anything else, just like inhaling, holding, releasing, 4-4-4.
Isn't that interesting that makes a difference in kind of bringing everything down, calming you completely, even with meditation, she just kind of listed some breath work, all the things, it makes a difference. So when you feel like you about to be on 10, what did you say to do? 4?
4-4.
Love it. Love it. What do you find? This is my last question because I know we're short on time. What do you find the most rewarding about your practice?
Yeah, what I find the most rewarding is having someone, and often when people come, they're at their worst, like I've tried other things or I feel overwhelmed, I'm not really having a lot of hope, having someone come when they're at their worst and, not feeling very hopeful, step out of themselves, be vulnerable, put themselves out there, try this new thing and see the results and come back like, oh my gosh, like I'm not yelling at my kids. I'm not irritable anymore. Like I'm saying no, I'm setting boundaries, I'm sleeping, and it's just
#boundaries.
It's a new leap. It's a new me. So
I love it. And let everyone know how they can get in contact with you if they want to know more about your practice or even your services.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at Marian_Cooper, LCSW. You can also check me out on my website, which is mariancooper.com. And, as a freebie to listeners, I have a mantra guide that I created. So it's like when you're feeling overwhelmed, stressed, you can download that. And it's 30 days of mantras to kind of help you reset.
Amazing. Marian, I am so grateful that you joined us tonight. Marian dropped all the gems. And so you guys make sure you tune into what she is doing. Follow her on all social media if you need her services. She's licensed in many states, but you take people virtually, don't you?
Yeah, I take virtual as well.
Yes. So make sure you reach out to her. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 77 of the Mamapreneur Podcast. And I will see you all in a few weeks. Have a blessed night.